Light it up.
Houston pilot, Houston pilot. We got the ladder complete.
The Houston Ship Channel. It's one of the narrowest ports in the world and one of the busiest. Every year, over 20,000 ships and 125,000 inland tows pass through these waters.
We're moving $100 million ships with $100 million worth of cargo on board.
A massive economic engine that's helped build a thriving city, employ hundreds of thousands of people, and put the Port of Houston on the map as a global destination for commerce, as well as a model of safety and efficiency.
No maneuver is routine. No trip is routine.
Over the better part of a century, the Houston Ship Channel has been transformed into what it is today, thanks to the dedication and expertise of a select group of mariners known as the Houston Harbor Pilots.
There's just a massive amount of coordination that's necessary to make this whole thing work, and the pilots are just an integral part of that.
Highly trained, they've navigated an ever-growing fleet of ships through the most landlocked port in the country. With safety at the forefront of every decision, they balance the demands of industry while protecting the environment for future generations.
One of the few places in the world where you get this combination of traffic density and narrow channel.
Safety is always first. It has to be.
They operate knowing that this complex channel prospers because of continued training and personal experience, a strong partnership with industry, and integration of the latest technologies, allowing each pilot to perform at the highest level, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, maintaining the Houston Harbor Pilots' nearly 100-year-old pledge to keep the port strong, prosperous, and safe for today and well into the future.
I've been on vessels that have entered and exited other ports, and there is no port comparable to the Port of Houston.
Houston is probably the most high-volume channel in the United States.
Our operations run 24/7, 365 days a year.
We're one of 3 pilot organizations in the country with our own barboat. It's one of the most vital parts of our operation here in Houston.
Every 20 to 30 minutes, we're either taking a pilot on a ship or off a ship. So a boat has to stay out there near our sea buoy just to take people on and off.
We don't rely on any one specific trade. We have car ships, we have container ships, passenger vessels, crude tankers, and then all the chemical tankers and refined products.
It's pretty diverse. I can't really think of a type of ship that we don't handle.
Houston is the largest mover of vessels in the United States. Like I said, we're moving like over 21,000 vessel movements a year, which is more than New York, New Orleans, San Francisco.
Just in the one port of Houston, $180 billion is generated within the state.
On any given day, we're handling thousands and thousands of tons of trade that make a difference when the people are looking at things like the price of gasoline, the price of oil.
The petrochemical manufacturing and the refining is just absolutely critical to every person who drives an automobile.
This port has been very, very instrumental to all the commerce.
All the ship channel users have paid last year $4.5 billion in taxes through the state of Texas. So it is just a gigantic economic engine.
Hundreds of thousands of jobs, hundreds of thousands of people depend on this waterway to be open.
Any day that we're shut down for a long period of time, if we're shut down 24 hours, over $500 million of lost revenue is reached.
You have to take into account the physical challenges that the channel presents in terms of depth and bends in the channel, but also it's the kind of ship you're on, and you have to take into consideration the kind of ship you're going to be meeting.
Port of Houston is one of the more challenging ports in the United States. With the amount of traffic we have here.
It's long, it's narrow, it's busy. It moves all kinds of chemicals. It supports the nation's largest petrochemical complex.
Ships are getting larger, and the ship channels are not.
Our channel is half the size of what it should be for two-way traffic, considering the size of ships that we have.
On an average day, does about 60 ship movements and about 370 towing vessel movements.
You have absolutely no room for error.
And these pilots are piloting vessels that vary in power, weight, size, length.
Just so many different kinds of cargo, so many different kinds of ships, which makes it that much more challenging, I think, for the pilots to hop on a different kind of ship every single day.
If you're talking about maneuvering a ship down a narrow channel, you want a pilot.
The Houston pilots clearly are a vital part of the operation of the port.
A ship is a massive investment. Getting that ship safely from Boulevard Roads to any one of the terminals in a very narrow channel requires a skilled pilot, and that's something that you only get with a lifetime of experience.
We know the road map of the bottom contour, and so we know where the deep water is and where the deep water is not, and we know where the shoaling in the channel may be and where the cross currents are going to hit us.
You've got to take the skills that you've learned throughout the years with respect to an emergency situation and incorporate emergency ship handling techniques that you may have learned through school or in theory, and you've got to put those all together right now.
They are very well trained with very good seamanship, and they have excellent safety record. And Houston Ship Channel is a pretty challenging channel.
The safety record is as good because it's the training.
Most of the time, people have probably a minimum of 10 years of maritime experience before becoming a pilot, and then when you get into a pilot group as a deputy, it's a 3-year training program for us in Houston.
A lot of repetition. You do a lot of trips up and down the channel with other pilots and then on your own, just to get the feel of what you need to be doing and how to do it the right way.
I learn something on this channel every day, and the day you stop learning is the day you better retire.
The Houston pilots have the most evolved and abundant continuing education program of any pilot association. We train throughout the United States, throughout North America, with video simulators. We were one of the first organizations to utilize manned models in our training.
Well, the Houston pilots were one of the first in the country and the world to embrace this technology. We have continued to be leaders as the technology advances. We have been the spearhead of that advance.
They're also deeply embedded as stakeholders and as players and participants in all manner of coordination activities, whether it be improving our routine processes, recovering from a fog closure, or reconstituting the port after a hurricane. They're deeply enmeshed in all manners of things maritime.
It takes a special mariner to want to take on a challenge like the Houston Ship Channel.
You know that if you don't do the job is not going to get done. And if you screw up, it's going to be a big disaster.
The pilots, as far as I'm concerned, are the heart of the ship channel.
We're umpires. I mean, the only vested interest we have is in making sure this channel remains in place so that this economic engine can continue to run.
You can have a great facility, but if you don't know how to operate it, it doesn't work. And so it takes that skill set that the pilots have to make this thing work.
Ship captains from around the world rely on the finely tuned skills and local knowledge of the Houston Harbor pilots to move their vessels through one of the narrowest, and busiest ports in the country. It is because of these pilots that the Houston Ship Channel and the surrounding area have continued to grow and transform into a global destination for commerce. And it's because of the pilots and their precision ship handling that the waterways remain open, natural resources are protected, and surrounding communities thrive. They operate around the clock while putting their personal safety on the line, in the middle of the day or the middle of the night. For nearly 100 years, the Houston Harbor pilots have remained instrumental in building the ports that built the city, Houston's silent servants of progress.